John Wick is the Baba Yaga, the most highly trained, most skilled, deadliest hitman you could ever imagine. Basically, he's one of the world's best predators and hunters. But what about pitting him up against an actual predator, renowned across the galaxy for their hunting and killing? Who would come out on top here? And really, is this fight even close? Let's get into it. John Wick. He's the ultimate hitman, just a legendary guy down in the underworld. And even though he managed to get out of the life once, did it for love, was eventually dragged back in when some little Russian prick stole his car and killed his dog. And from there, well, let's just say things kinda got out of hand. But still, John could handle it. And that speaks to really how good he is in a fight. John's strong enough to go up against almost anyone, and has legitimately sent people flying backwards with his punches and kicks. He's also definitely no stranger to fighting against bigger, stronger guys. He even fought against a world-class sumo wrestler, or a guy at the very least who was a promising up-and-comer. And then when he fought against 7'4" Boba Majernovic, well, John just beat him to death with a book. Definitely one of the more humiliating ways John's killed someone. I don't know which one's worse, getting taken out with a pencil or a library book. I mean, both are bad, both are real bad. What's even worse though is that John just casually puts it back after he's done. Like, well, don't need this anymore, I guess I better check it back in. So bottom line, John's strong. He's also really tough. His suit is actually bulletproof, meaning he's able to take all sorts of shots and keep on going. He's taken some pretty big falls and tumbles before. Punches and kicks don't seem to have any effect on him. He's like the Terminator, just picks himself up and keeps on going and going and going. You can even create a whole category here just about all the car crashes that John has been in. Like, you shouldn't be able to get hit by a car and walk it off that easily. You really shouldn't. But that's just the world that we live in here. John Wick is immune to car crashes. Also, I guess immune to being thrown off buildings. But don't worry, the metal railings slowed him down. What? Are we sure that John is even human? To top it all off, John isn't just borderline superhuman. He's also gotta be one of the best fighters I've ever seen. He's more of a grappler than anything else, but works in stuff like judo, Krav Maga, and jiu-jitsu to take down pretty much everyone he's come across. Seriously, it feels like almost every single assassin out there has taken their shot at John over the course of these 4 movies. They've all failed. His go-to move is just to flip people around and get them on the ground, and then proceed to shoot them in the head. Which, I mean, hey, simple enough. It works, why change it? Keep it simple. And if John doesn't have any guns handy, well, he can kill a guy with pretty much anything else, so not really that big of a deal. And plus, John always has guns handy, so what are we even talking about? He's insanely accurate, is just constantly hitting headshots like it's nothing. He can take out guys in an instant. If John is coming at you with a gun, you're basically already dead. Not even bulletproof armor can keep you safe. Seriously, these guys are trained fighters wearing the best armor that money can buy, top grade stuff, legitimately bulletproof stuff, and John still just plowed through them with guns. The man is the best there is. He's a living legend. Put it simply, he's the Baba Yaga. The feral predator is one of the first predators that ever made its way to Earth. A savage and primitive killer. Really just a straight juggernaut and a monster. So the first knock that you could potentially make against the feral predator is the suggestion that he's a young blood or unblooded, so not nearly as skilled or intimidating as most predators. And what does it exactly mean to be blooded? Well, here's the thing. Predator culture centers all around the ritualistic hunting of other species. This is the foundation of their entire society. In fact, most of their whole life is devoted to the hunt. They'll even travel across huge galaxies, all in order to face off against a worthy challenge. They go through an initiation process where they must kill a xenomorph in one-on-one combat. And after they're successfully able to do that, well, they can mark themselves as blooded and are now able to go out on solo hunts. But actually, just because the feral predator doesn't have the markings on his skull or anything like that, it doesn't mean that he's necessarily unblooded. Doesn't mean that he can't kill xenomorphs himself. That's because this predator is different. It's actually a unique subspecies among all the other predators, which explains why it's using different, more basic weapons. Its helmet is literally the skull of another predator that it threw some tech on top of. And it also explains why this predator looks a little different. The background on it essentially comes from a different, much hotter part of the predator's home world, basically making it a desert predator. And with that difference in environment, probably comes a difference in culture, hence the more basic weapons and why it holds such a special reverence towards bones, using it in its armor, even possibly eating them. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that this predator is different enough from the main classic predators that we've seen in the past that the whole blooding thing might not even be a thing for them. So still might be a skilled hunter. That's all I'm saying. But the way that Feral fights, well, he's just a madman. Just a straight up lunatic. He's barbaric. Almost like a bomb that's just waiting to go off. The second it does, well, he's just leaving carnage everywhere he goes. He's also got absolutely zero patience, to the point where he's almost arrogant and is willing to make mistakes. And he's so much stronger and more powerful than everyone else that it usually actually works out for him in the end. Like when the trappers set a trap for him, well, his thinking was, oh, I'm just gonna kill all these trappers. And it turned into him just walking straight towards them. Like there's a moment where they have him trapped, and he quickly realizes that he's just magnitudes stronger than everyone else. He gets a little mad about it, but by the time he's chopping that dude's head off with his shield, well, he's just straight up enjoying himself. The feral predator is just a force of nature. He's strong enough to fight against a grizzly bear. Strong enough to fight against one and break its neck with just one good right hook. He's easily stronger than 5-6 grown men, can throw them all around. Feral is also absolutely a tank. He was shot right in the head, was impaled all the way through with his own spear. He was straight up mauled by a bear. A wolf bit the crap out of him. The guy can take a whole lot of damage and not really even bother him. And while he's not necessarily totally unprepared when it comes to weapons, he definitely did just bring the bare bones. But it kind of makes up for it with the fact that each weapon can have multiple uses. The shield can block bullets, it can block attacks. Obviously it's a shield, but can also be used to kill prey. The small little knife whip can cut right through traps, but when it's in its knife form, well, the predator can just throw it around like a smart disc. Then its spear, well, it's just a spear, but it's really big, and I guess it can be split up into two different parts. The only thing the feral predator had close to being high-tech, though, is its spear gun, which was taking the place of the predator's usual plasma caster. So, who wins here? Well, let's break it down. Now, no question, the predator holds a serious size and power advantage over John Wick. I mean, even for as tough and durable as John Wick is, if the predator gets its hands on him, he's gonna die. I mean, sure, Wick really should be dead several times over of all the damage he's taken over the movies. But this thing was able to manhandle a grizzly bear. I don't think John Wick would necessarily be one shot here like some of the other humans. This is a guy who can jump out of multi-story buildings, be hit by speeding cars, and keep on fighting. But in a close-up fight, he would still lose every time. So Wick can't let this get in close. But he'll know that with just one glance at the big monster. So of course, he'll keep his distance and just go in guns a-blazing. And that might actually be a serious problem for the Predator here. John Wick with modern day guns is easily the most dangerous prey we've ever seen it face. And John can actually do some serious damage to this thing too. The Predator was able to survive a point-blank shot from a flintlock pistol, but it was also pierced with arrows, had its arm cut off of a tomahawk, was killed with its own bolt gun. Probably just John's normal loadout would be enough to actually injure it too. Then if you give him an armor-piercing shotgun or the dragon's breath, well then he's going to be able to do some serious damage. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that John Wick can beat every Predator, but this one in particular, well, it's just so aggressive and so animalistic in a fight that it actually works in John's favor. Because while it'll basically just charge in there and underestimate John, well, Wick is actually a lot more skilled at fighting and hunting than it. He actually has the better and more powerful weapons here, and is low-key superhuman enough to pull something like this off. Because if a Comanche teen who had never even seen a pistol is able to pull this off, trap it, and beat it, well then I'm pretty sure John Wick can too. The Predator is a monster, and sometimes it might be too much for John Wick to handle. But I think John Wick would actually take this more times than not. John Wick wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.